welcome to Madoka Magicast, the podcast devoted to the dark magical girl anime franchise, Puella Magi Madoka Magica. I'm your host, Amanda. I am a lawyer by day and wannabe comics writer and artist by night, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Yasha and Vanna, who are the longtime owners of the biggest revolutionary girl Utano website known as Empty Movement. Hello, ladies.
Hi!
Yasha and Vanna are relatively new fans of the show. I have been a fan since the very beginning, and on this podcast, we talk about what we love and don't love about the series and all of its spin-off material. We are back after summer 2020 hiatus, and we are continuing our discussion of the Different Story manga, which is the first official spin-off manga set in an alternate universe, which focuses on the relationship between Mami and Kyoko. So, hello!
Hello!
That was my little professional introduction for our first off hiatus.
That was amazing.
That was
episode.
really good. Did you practice?
You like that? Sound professional?
Yeah.
It sounded super
No,
professional.
I had it all written
Yeah.
out, so I basically just read it off of a paper.
That makes life easier.
Yeah.
I had the equivalent of a teleprompter to help me with that.
Oh no!
So, how has summer been? How was the hiatus for you?
Well, I mentioned this a little bit in our announcement, but it's been mostly okay.
Mhm.
I mentioned that my artist alley never ended up happening because the
Well.
convention that it was supposed to happen at was canceled. So half the reason I even needed to take a hiatus was never a thing.
That sucks.
So
I mean, it is
well.
2020.
Yeah, 2020 is...
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the meantime, I kept going to work.
Yeah, that's good. You
Yeah.
had work.
I had work. Yeah, I'm not unemployed.
That's something.
So there's that. I turned 33 years old, so I got a year closer to death.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's always good to get 1 year closer to the sweet embrace of death.
Omerito.
Yeah, right.
Thanks.
I was today years old when I found out how old Amanda is.
Oh, really?
I was Amanda. Yeah, like I
Yes.
didn't
Okay.
realize Amanda was 30.
You don't
Did you
pay
think I was
attention,
younger?
do you?
I don't.
I do.
Like, my brain just registers you as adult relatively in the range of me.
Can I ask how old you guys are? I know you're a little bit older
Yeah,
than me, aren't
I'm
you?
36.
Yeah. Okay.
Old.
And I gotta think about this.
You're 38.
Okay.
You're 2
Oh,
years
okay.
older than me. That's
If you want Panda to cut that out.
I
can.
honestly
I was just
don't care.
curious. Okay.
I don't even celebrate my birthday.
yeah.
So it
I'm
just kind of doesn't mean anything to
whether
me.
I'm 26 or 36, I'm the same
Yeah.
asshole. So it's like whatever.
Yeah, my brain has been the same since I was like 25
Right?
or so. I'm still the same person that I was when I turned 25.
I mean, that's
so
when your brain stops
I'm-
baking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
when you're
basically.
pretty much finalized as a person who you are. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been about 2011 to me for the past 10 years. So,
Damn. Nice.
Yeah.
It's been
Pretty much
2020 for at least the past 40 years, be it even beyond that. So
Oh
Right.
well, that's a different topic. That's a different, It's been March for how long now?
It's the eternal march.
yeah.
The eternal March
We are in
of
a
2020.
what if this is a witch's labyrinth and we're all in it?
Oh,
2020 is a witch's labyrinth. You heard it here first,
Oh my
y'all.
God.
This is the worst fucking witch.
What are the familiars of this labyrinth?
I don't know, but I bet this witch is
negligent
orange.
white cis male world leaders.
U.S. politicians.
Yep.
Laid on set dementia.
Aw.
This is the worst.
How
thing.
has the summer been for you guys?
Hot. I am employed, so I guess that's good. I'm a nurse, so that sucks.
Yeah.
Something tells me you're gonna have really good job
I
stability. For a
have
while.
fantastic job security, but
Yeah.
they are absolutely about to gut my wages and benefits. So that's
Aw,
yeah.
what the fuck?
They
Why
were
would
they
you
were
say,
gonna do that before, and like Jason Kenney, who is the Trump of Alberta, literally just like said, "Okay, we're gonna hold off on firing and screwing over the nurses until after the pandemic." And like, oh, thanks
Oh my
for the
God.
favor, I guess.
Yeah, you just posted in one of the other channels. I want to make you feel like a pleasantly temperate Alberta evening. A cool breeze discourages the mosquitoes, and a Trumpian idiot roots around in your purse, trying to tear apart your healthcare card and pension.
Yep. Little mood writing there. Yep. So that's okay. But for the most part, we've just been kind of surviving. It's 2020. Luckily, being like a night shift worker shut-in makes the whole like
makes COVID easier.
COVID thing easier. They're like, oh, it's so hard to self-isolate. I'm like, man, I do that on my own.
I already don't go anywhere because everything's closed when I'm not working.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, don't go out, don't worry, I won't. I had before. That's okay. I see you made a note here about watching musicals. Where'd you even...
Panda.
Oh, Panda. Oh,
well, you mean between your own Twitter accounts and Panda? I mean,
it was pretty obvious.
It's kind of hard to not hear about.
Yeah, it's a fairly rare occasion that I'll post non-Utena stuff on the Empty Movement account. I have to be really taken with something to post it and have it be off topic, but...
And she and I have gotten into Hades Town, which is actually really fucking good. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. I need to watch it at some point.
We can watch it later. Well, not tonight, but we will watch it at some point. Yeah. I do not need to be nudged much to watch Hades Town again.
I saw you guys tweeting about Hamilton too, which I also saw.
We watched Hamilton, and that's what like got us into it. But I had like a lot of like complaints about Hamilton, like a little like I liked it more as like an experiment to watch in 2020. Given it has aged super well, I think, and I think
just don't forget that every hot take that has
happened already,
that has to be had about Hamilton has been had.
Totally.
Yeah,
but I watched it, and so the reason we ended up watching Hades Town after that, Panda, I don't remember who said what or whatever, but apparently there was a conversation among our friends, like Panda and Company, over whether I would like Hades Town, and
specifically whether you would like Hades.
Yeah, whether I would like Hades, and it's kind of cute because I don't know what the debate was.
I mean, I know nothing about Hades Town, but I will say that I do love Hades from the Disney's Hercules movie.
He is also awesome.
He is like the gay best friend that I wish I always had.
Him and Meg are really the only reason that movie is even
exactly.
Watchable, but
I love that movie.
This is a very different.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Hades Town is basically an interweaving of the Hades and Persephone myth and the Orpheus and Eurydice myth. And those are my two favorite myths out of like all of Greek mythology. So
hi, Sam.
So I was pretty stoked for that, but they were seriously discussing whether literally the devil would attract Vanna's attention. So yeah. Yeah.
Well,
oh yeah, he did.
Oh yeah.
I love him. Actually, it's really neat because they position Hades as basically like a capitalist and Orpheus as basically like a communist.
Communism. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really interesting.
You know what it is? Hades and Persephone have kind of like Accio and Anthe energy, except that it's redeemable, and I feel like that's what I need in 2020.
Yeah.
A redemption arc for the kind of characters I actually like.
Okay.
That is a very, very rare thing. It's not hard to find characters that I will enjoy, but characters I will enjoy that get unambiguously good endings that have potential for human growth are like very rare.
Well, and also it's really fucking romantic that he is implied to be trying to build a sun underground because Persephone misses the sun.
He invented the Industrial Revolution for her.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Congratulations, then. I can be happy for you.
It falls into that category of like Utena and Madoka kind of content where it's a very simple story, and all of the chewing on it you do is all the stuff like kind of around the story. It's not the story per se.
Right.
It's the characterizations, the framing, and the interpretation and all that kind of stuff. And I actually just really enjoy stories like that. Like stuff that you can chew on after, and it's almost never about what actually happens. Like it's kind of like if you tried to tell someone about Madoka in terms of what the story is, it's like, okay, weird. Like you cannot convey it. It's hard
to convey why you find it so fascinating.
Yeah. It's the same with
him. If you just give like a strict story summary of Madoka, you're like, it sounds really hokey kind of.
Yeah.
But then when you sit down and watch it, there's all this other stuff going on. So it's that kind of stuff.
It's pretty much the definition of a story being well told rather than having, like, an amazing genius idea behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big difference between those two things.
Totally.
And to be honest, the amazing genius ideas that are badly told are shitty stories. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah. I'd much rather watch a story that's well told than something that's got some kind of novel concept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we move on, I would like to mention one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I recently had my friend log in to his Disney Plus account on my PlayStation 4, so I now have access to Disney Plus. So I've been rewatching all of the old Disney movies, like the really old ones,
like how old?
like Snow White, and
great.
like Peter Pan, like all the really old ones that I haven't seen in like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
And I've been tweeting about this a little bit. But the only thing I want to mention is that the Disney Pinocchio movie from 1939 or 1940 or something is a fucking nightmare.
It is!
Yeah.
And you should not let children watch this movie.
I remember thinking that movie was nightmare fuel as a kid, but then I would just rewind it and watch it again.
Jesus Christ. So, like, the first, 20 minutes of it are great, right?
And then it's immediately
Wonderful.
a nightmare.
Charming Disney magic, the first 20 minutes of Pinocchio. The rest of the movie is awful.
Descent into hell, it's awful.
It's, Pinocchio gets kidnapped by a horrible racial stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
He's either supposed to be a Jewish stereotype or a Romani stereotype, incredibly offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets kidnapped by pedophile foxes later.
Yeah.
And then he gets spirited off to a horrible theme park for kidnapped
children.
Yeah, who then get child trafficked into essentially slavery. And it's just awful. The whole thing is terrible.
Awful. It is.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I was horrified, and I'm a 33-year-old grown woman, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You know what? I feel like sometimes things are more horrifying once you're an adult.
Yeah. I would say, yeah.
Like,
for sure.
I feel like that one is more horrifying the older you get, because you start to, think about the implications of what's being done here and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And you're like,
yes.
What the fuck? I can't show this to kids.
No, I would not. I honestly have to say. And the children are, drinking and smoking, and it's
right?
The story is not good.
No.
Like, at the end of the movie, all of a sudden, Geppetto is in a whale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay?
Like, he goes back to his house to be like, okay, I'm home. And he's just, not there, and somehow he's got inside a whale for some reason.
Yeah, they never...
And so Pinocchio
I don't know,
just
man.
goes
That
off
happened to me last week, so I don't know what your problem is.
Now, is that the most terrifying Disney movie? I think it might be.
I don't know. I haven't seen them all. I haven't rewatched them all,
Honestly,
but that's the most scariest one I've watched so far.
Not for me. For me, the most, existentially terrifying one was always Snow White.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah.
Snow White was not as bad, in my opinion.
No, but I mean, looking at it from the point of view of the character and the perspective of somebody who absolutely does not want to ever be a servant or an object or anything like that, the entire movie horrifies me, personally.
That's fair. But it doesn't go for existential nightmare fuel the way
No.
Pinocchio does.
No.
That's more of a deep personal
Yeah,
discomfort
exactly.
kind of thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pinocchio's definitely, broad nightmare fuel category, but Snow White has always been worse for me, personally.
I think Hunchback might be the most nightmare fuel.
No wonder you love
Hunchback
it.
Hunchback is 75% of... No, that's being too generous. Hunchback is 50% of Disney's best movie ever made. Glued to 50% of a fucking stupid, awful, terrible.
That's why
movie.
it's the
That's
why
bad.
it's the worst one. That's why it's the nightmare fuel. It's those are some very low lows.
Yeah, and very high highs.
Yeah.
It constantly goes back and forth.
I've never actually seen it.
Oh, you should see it. You should see
You've
it.
heard the important stuff.
Yeah,
That's about it.
I don't really.
You've definitely heard me listen to Hellfire at least 10 times.
You know, I don't have the patience for things like that usually. I would just get up halfway through and start doing something.
You should see it.
That's all you need.
You could probably actually edit out the parts of
The gargoyles.
yes, the gargoyles.
I bet somebody has done that. Actually,
Someone's done that. I think.
Yeah, some of the other stuff with the Romani
It's pretty
folks later in the movie that
yikes.
that are kind of yikes, that could get edited out. Like, there's some stuff in that movie you could easily trim down to make it a lot better than it is. Because there is so much in that movie that's so good.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched that one too, and I was like, man, you guys got so close with this movie.
Went very high and went very low.
This was almost like a Secret of Nim kind of movie for you.
You know, I have
Disney,
never
and we got
seen
really
that.
close.
You haven't?
Oh, you should. That's another one you should
I have
see.
never seen that.
That's actually really good.
I missed a
It
lot
is
of
very
those
good.
movies as a kid. I missed all of those. Not all of them though, because Land Before Time I watched about 800,000 times in existential fear that my mother would die. So that was that was like the worst. There was also the Fievel movies. I remember loving
I love those movies.
Yes!
Yeah.
I don't know whether they would stand
were
up
good.
if I watched it now, but I remember being, like, super fond of those.
Yeah, that's true. I remember liking them also.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, I think I watched those kinds of movies more than the Disney films, but liked the Disney films more, if that makes sense, as a kid.
Mhm.
Like, the Disney ones are so easy to, like, enjoy, but they don't make you sob like a bitch every time the dinosaur dies.
They're not very challenging.
No, they're really not. Which I guess is the
The
point.
best ones are the ones that are a little bit more challenging.
I never saw Watership Down as a kid, and that I deeply
Oh my
regret
God.
because that is actually the Nightmare Fuel movie.
Yes. That is Nightmare Fuel.
That's
also.
Pinocchio level Nightmare
Oh,
Fuel.
we gotta watch that Netflix one.
Oh yeah, we do.
The one where they have
Yeah,
Nux from Fury Road playing, like, Hazel, I think.
That's adorable.
It is adorable.
That's adorable.
So anyway,
So, yeah.
now that Disney movie cast is over.
Yeah. Let's find where we left off in Different Story.
We left off.
Would you guys like to take us where we left off in a different story? I've got my volume 1 open.
So we actually finished. I don't think it had been an actual chapter break. No, it was. Yeah. So
It was, yeah.
we had finished with Kyoko thinking she killed her family, basically having a bit of a normal one there. After her dad went ham.
Basically blaming it all on herself.
It's her fault that her father is a complete piece of shit. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I
you know.
was just so. She blames
Normal
herself,
logic.
and in that she loses her fascination magic. I guess because it was tied to what she had wanted her father to be able to do. Basically,
How does Kyubei say it?
how did he put it? The power that was born from your wish was fascination, and subconsciously you rejected your wish. The attributes of the magic that a magical girl is given are directly connected to the wish the girl makes. So she rejected the wish and lost her fascination magic, which is a bit of a nerf, a tiny nerf.
Yeah.
But she's like walking away from like kind of the mess, and Mommy finds her on the floor, and she's like collapses sobbing, swearing that she killed everybody, that it's her fault. And we kind of left off there with her having her meltdown in the snow because mood,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mood.
Yeah.
Mood.
Everything bad happens
And-
in the snow.
Yeah, so we've got one last chapter in volume 1.
It's a short one,
And,
but it's a lot.
It's a short one, it's a lot. I was struck by it being kind of, I don't want to say standard.
Mhm.
It puts us where we are implied to be with Kyoko and Mami
Mhm.
in the original anime.
Yeah. It's kind of like
So-
rushing to catch you up almost. Like,
Yeah.
it has to set, like, kind of undo everything it had done. Like, oh no, we have to get to X point, and this feels like them making sure to bridge the gap, kind of.
Yeah, so it doesn't really have a whole lot of surprises from here.
No.
But I don't want to say that makes it bad.
I mean, it's just the falling action of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the falling out that
Yes.
is inevitable from it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is like in your notes said, it's short and relatively uneventful. It's really more of a just
It's
friend
basically
fight.
breaking down
It's a
where
breakup.
their relationship ends up after all of these. Like I said, it's the falling action /
Mhm.
denouement kind of section of the story.
This is the breakup.
It is.
This is the breakup. They're breaking up.
They're breaking up, which felt inevitable, like from the start.
I
You
mean,
knew it was
they sort of already broke up, but this is really the
no, this is
breakup.
the real breakup.
They were having some time apart earlier. This is the actual
Yeah.
breakup. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the divorce.
Yeah, it's that whole, like, we should see other people leading to, we're just never going to see each other again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate you now.
Yeah, I hate you now. We're
not on good terms anymore.
We were never really friends in the first place. Meh, that whole...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing that stuck out about it to me is just how Kyoko handles, like, all of it. Seems very much, at the very least, as much about getting Mami away from her than her actual beliefs.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
Definitely.
at least, if not more so, about getting Mami away from her.
Which actually is kind of interesting because, like, this whole volume focuses and kind of touches a lot on Mami's kind of internal angst about whether she's someone that is safe to be around, basically. She's like, well, I want friends, but I'm also terrifying and toxic and will hurt people because she thinks this about herself for some reason. Fuck. Sorry. Really?
It's okay.
Things we don't expect to happen. The phone
My
rings.
phone is ringing. The fuck? Anyway, what was I? Yeah, Mommy's kind of has this belief that she's toxic and dangerous to be around, and this is Kyoko kind of having her version of that, and at this point, like, they can't be friends because they both believe that they are just forces of destruction and misery, and that anyone that befriends them is going to die horribly or suffer in some way.
Yeah.
Which is a teen mood, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I feel like Kyoko actually has more of a reason to feel this way than Mami did. I think Mami had kind of an overblown sense of personal responsibility. Kyoko is like, people die around me.
I think with
Terribly.
Mami, it's more about she feels like she can't trust other people.
Yeah, that's
It's
fair.
not so much I cause other people to hurt others. It's the people I'm trying to call my colleagues don't care about the innocents, and
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
So I can't trust them to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly how
So-
Kyoko knows how to break up their friendship.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
which I think is interesting. That's some good insight, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
if you're gonna drop a bomb on your friendship, she knew exactly what to say to get
Honestly,
Mami to go away.
the whole thing read to me as not so much Kyoko believing that, but her saying that to Mami and then her beliefs calcifying around it later on as if to justify her separation from Mami.
Yeah.
Oh, and Kyoko totally does not actually believe in that,
No.
by the way.
She doesn't.
This is something that kind of comes up in some of the other side material.
Mhm.
Like, there are some, like, some of the side character stories in Magireko, for example, that I'm thinking of that involve Kyoko. Kyoko will pretend that she's doing like a tsundere thing.
Yeah.
Sort of. Where she'll pretend that she's doesn't care and she's just giving you advice to be sarcastic, but it's actually coming from a place where she actually does want you to listen to her advice.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
She wants to believe in good things, but she's also too cynical to just openly feel that way. She has to kind of like dance around it and shit on it.
She can't let herself be vulnerable anymore.
Exactly.
She doesn't want to let herself be vulnerable. So if she can convince herself that she doesn't care, then if something bad happens,
And that's not dissimilar to Mommy's kind of answer there too. It's just that their answers were different, but there's the same, like, I need to not care. But Mommy's way of not caring is more like, I'm gonna throw myself into saving the innocents and what happens to me doesn't matter. And Kyoko's is like, I'm just keep be selfish because nothing matters. But it's the same, like, protective, like, instinct. And I kind of like that they contrasted these two. I think it's a fun contrast, and the show doesn't really do this. So I enjoyed this aside that way. Like, they have a really equal opposite thing.
like Mami doesn't really get a foil like this.
No.
The closest thing she gets is Homura, but Mami dies so quickly in the original anime that you never really get to see that.
Yeah.
You know?
Which, I mean, I think is fair. Like, Mami, for the purpose she serves in the anime, she had to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other characters wouldn't have been able to act as dumb around each other with Mami around, so they had to remove the mom from the room, basically.
Which makes some of the later episodes in this interesting. In the later chapters. As we're gonna see.
It's also nice, though, that there is a canon reason why there are these alternate universes. Like, it's also nice that it's justified in the text why we have these different stories where...
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like,
where it's like you can just imagine whatever happening, and yeah, it
there's a
probably did
version where it
because
did.
Homura probably experienced it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Because, like
Yeah.
with Uchina, like in the Uchina fandom, there's all these different continuities, but we all just kind of accept that they're all a...
Yeah.
Like, none of these continuities are similar enough to each other, or like a first and then this happened, that kind of thing. But this internalizes it within the narrative, so you could just be like, no, that's
canon.
That's canon. It's just a
This is
different
actually
timeline.
relevant.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
Star Trek. Whatever
Yeah.
you want to do, it's like, yeah, but there's infinite timelines.
Yep, pretty much.
So why don't we get into
Let's
what
do
happens
this.
here in chapter 4? Yeah. One of you guys want to take us through this first scene here?
All right, so we start out with them having tea in Mommy's apartment. Mommy makes Kyoko some ginger tea, and she's trying to, like, comfort her, and she's lent her some clothes, and she's offering for Kyoko to stay over, and, I mean, pretty clearly just
Mhm.
wants to, like, mother her a bit.
Yeah, because that's what she does.
And she also kind of wants to know what Kyoko's going to do now. Like, she doesn't want Kyoko to be alone. She offers to have Kyoko stay with her. And it's, like, again, like I said, it's pretty clear she wants to take care of Kyoko. Kyoko, however, rejects her offer, saying that she can't impose on her that much.
Which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
It sort of is.
Yeah.
This is literally the first night of you being an orphan.
Yeah.
If there's any night where it's probably okay for you to say,
Sure.
I'm tired, I want to go to bed right now, it's probably right now, Kyoko.
Yeah.
This one night is probably the one night it's okay for you to say yes to this.
Right?
And she's already
No,
like,
I don't need
nah.
So, Mommy calls her out a little bit about that, and she's all like, stop trying to do everything on your own. And she's talking about battling and how, you know, we can work together. You don't have to do everything yourself. I'll make dinner. And in the meantime, Kyoko, like, she accepts the dinner at least, and she's kind of thinking to herself, but I'm afraid I can't
I
fight
can't do
with
this
you
anymore."
anymore.
She has already come to that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get a little time skip, and Mommy is telling Kyoko, like, tending one of Kyoko's wounds and saying that she's not at the top of her game anymore, and kind of telling her, like, maybe you need to back off from this for a bit until you can get back in your game, because you're gonna get
Take a
yourself
breather.
killed here if you're not working at the top of your game. Apparently, Kyoko was wounded by just fighting a familiar, and didn't use her fascination magic at all. Kyoko does not tell her that she can no longer use her fascination magic, and just says, I can take down a witch without it. And Mommy is rightfully confused by this, and instead of letting Mommy chase that thread, Kyoko says to her, there's something I've been meaning to talk to you about. And then goes into the breakup speech. From now on, instead of taking down the witch and all the familiars, why don't we just concentrate on the witch? If we're hunting familiars, even though they don't drop grief seeds.
Oh, she drops that A-bomb.
Yeah, she knew.
yeah.
She knows.
Then it means we're wasting our magic for no good reason. We don't profit from the small fries, so it's just a waste going after them, right? And Mommy tries to interrupt, like, has something happened? And Kyoko just overrides her, like, you may be trying to be a hero and protect the peace or something.
And keeps going.
But to tell you the truth, it's too much of a pain to play along with your hobbies anymore. I guess it just doesn't seem right to me anymore. That's such a big fucking lie.
I know. That's like, they even do the thing where she's from far away and they don't draw her eyes.
Yeah.
Like the like manga code
actually,
I'm having a deep angry moment and don't really mean it.
For like the next 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 panels
she has,
after
like, no
that,
eyes.
she has no eyes. Like, literally after saying that.
For like almost 2.5 pages.
No
you
eyes.
Oh yeah,
open
that's
his eyes
true.
again.
Oh
That's
wow, yeah,
true.
they keep
that up
doing
for
it.
a while.
Yeah. It's
But yeah, so she keeps going and pretty much is just jamming all the needles right into where she knows it'll hurt Mommy.
She keeps digging that hole.
Mhm.
She's like, why should we save people if they're gonna die anyway? whether they're possessed by or not, the ones who want to die are gonna die, so why should I risk my life to save a bunch of stupid assholes like that? Just let the familiars eat them and become witches, and then we can get more grief seeds.
Yeah.
Mommy's listening to all of this, like, as you would expect,
Just
very
horrified.
kind of horrified, because this is exactly what she doesn't want to hear from
The one
from
person she
Kyoko.
found that didn't feel that way to begin with, as far as
Yeah.
she's concerned.
Yeah. And poor Mommy tries to say something here, says the very wrongest thing. she starts saying, like, you know, I know how you feel about your family, and I feel like that's
the worst
very
thing to
wrongest
say
thing
right there.
to say.
Yeah.
To try to talk to her about what she's saying right now.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, even
'cause,
if
of
she'd
course,
just come at it from the angle of, you know, that's not right,
Mm-hmm.
that would have
Yeah.
been more effective.
Yeah, but she can't.
I know.
It's just not
she's
ever
like
big enough.
13 or whatever.
I mean, there's also that.
15. So,
because of course Kyoko's like, no, you don't know
yeah. Like,
what happened to me and my family.
you have no idea
And
what my feelings are, you know,
Yeah.
that old thing.
you always knew this was going to happen this whole time, didn't you? Like, thinking back on that one conversation they
Yeah.
had, like in like the second chapter or whatever.
Gotta love the part where she's just like, a girl whose family died in an accident is in no way the same as a girl whose family died because of her, right? Like, wow, way to bring Mommy's family and her trauma into it. Like, Kyoko just does an amazing job of absolutely tearing Mommy apart.
You know, this is such
Kyoko
a trope
is-
in media, and I don't think I've ever seen it happen in real life.
Of what do you mean?
The trope of, like, when you decide that you need to not talk to a person anymore for whatever reason, where it's a broken relationship or whatever, doing this whole thing where you just hurt them as hard as you can to push them away, and I've never seen that. You just ghost them like everybody else. Just stop talking to them.
Okay,
Oh,
that
really?
does happen sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That does happen sometimes.
I've done that.
Okay. Okay, maybe I've just been very fortunate or extremely unsocial.
I mean, we've been together for like the last 20 years, so.
The only person I've ever done that to is my father, and it works very well, and every time I do it, it's very satisfying.
Okay, that's fair.
And it gets him just leave me alone.
Okay, I'll that's fair.
But yeah, that is
Yeah.
a thing
It
that
is a
happens.
thing.
That
That
is
is-
a thing.
I recognize, however, like, I will say, I really shouldn't do that, but it is my dad, and let me just say he deserves it. But, like, any other time, it would just be a very abusive thing to do to somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I would say that there are people who probably do treat others like that.
Probably. I guess I
Yeah.
just haven't
You know what I'm saying?
experienced it myself, so I'm like,
Well, and Kyoko is kind of a bully.
she is.
yeah.
Like, consistently, as we're going to see.
She's kind of a bully.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's ego defense.
It is ego defense,
And
but
her-
it's ego defense by way of attacking.
It's shitty ego defense, but most ego defense is shitty in some
Yeah.
way.
It's true.
If you're that
And,
concerned.
you know, her dad was exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Her dad treated her exactly the same way that she's treating
So
me
it
right
does
now.
make sense that she's
Mhm.
doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, these patterns are not coming out of nowhere. They're established long
No,
before
they're
this
not.
ever happens.
Yeah.
So she goes, after tearing Mommy apart to the point where Mommy cannot form a sentence anymore,
Which is some big,
Um,
powerful energy, to be honest.
she's all like, so I made up my mind. I'm not going to do anything more for other people's happiness or try to save anybody anymore. I'll never use my magic for that reason. I'm only ever going to use my magic to make me happy. So we're done here, right? You despise me now, don't you?
I like that they put that there just in case anyone had trouble figuring out what
She keeps
her-
going.
her shit
We can't
was.
fight together anymore, huh? You and me, and
Will you please
right here.
Will you please confirm for me that I have successfully pushed you away?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
pretty
Leave
much.
me
Pretty
alone?
much.
We're no longer friends. Check yes or no.
Pretty
It's
much.
very...
And Mommy is just like not having it. She catches Kyoko by the arm as Kyoko's walking away, and she's like, "No, I can't let you go. I don't care how tough it is for you right now. I can't let you choose a life like that. Here you go, trying too hard to act strong, even though it's going to make things even tougher for you. How can I leave you alone like this? I just can't walk away from you like this. And then they
That's the wrong
fight
thing to say to
because
Kyoko.
Kyoko's like,
And then they
"Fuck
fight.
you."
Yeah, that was entirely the wrong move.
Mm-hmm.
With a person like that.
So Kyoko's like, okay, fine, then I'll kick your ass to make you leave me alone.
Pretty much. Which, is an answer.
And, I'm thinking that Mami's line on the next page here probably reads better in Japanese. She says,
Yeah.
I see you don't intend to talk this over rationally, correct? And then she says, you really are always causing your senpai problems. Which, that reads awkward in English because we don't have that same kind of relationship, I think, with like an upperclassman to it.
Yeah.
Like, it might read better as like mentor or something in English, but it's not. But that's even still not the same.
I kind of like the decision of to leave senpai more than use something like mentor though, because it leaves it. It's a cue that relationship is not something you're immediately going to get an equivalent to.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like it otherizes it enough.
There's a dynamic there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that because...
Yeah, no, like, I'm not complaining about the use of the word senpai. It's just, like I said, we don't really have an equivalent relationship in North America.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have this whole upperclassmen as mentors to younger, younger students or anything like that. If anything, they're at odds.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of an odd...
It comes across as like she's scolding her wayward, rebellious daughter.
Kinda, yeah.
To be honest.
Or maybe like a master apprentice thing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have the kind of schoolyard mundane
or the
kind of elements that...
Or the emotional attachment there.
Yeah.
Because clearly there's some emotional content behind that I think that's what it is. There's emotional content to that statement in Japanese that we don't have.
That you don't have. I think I also like I like that because the whole like you're always causing your senpai problems thing is it's so obvious that Mami has she still thinks that they're still friends. Like like she's thinking, oh, you're just being a naughty girl and you need a spanking and then we'll be fine.
She's trying to reinforce the framework of the relationship by stating that it still exists.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which is like, wow, did you just miss the last several pages?
No, that's a direct reaction to the last several pages because Kyoko tried to break down that framework, and what Mami's saying is, it's still there.
No,
it's still there.
No, we are not breaking up. We are still together. Yeah.
Mami is standing in the middle of a burning building where the foundations are just cinders, and she's like, it's fine. I can rebuild it.
I'm not entirely sure of that, because Mami is always going to have been her senpai at one point.
Yeah.
And that's not something that Kyoko can just erase from memory.
No, but
so it's like, okay, this is just a continuation. Even though you're trying to burn this building down, this is just a continuation of the things that you were doing before. It is not anything new, kind of thing. I don't know, that's what I'm getting from that.
What I do like about this fight afterwards is how they know each other so well from fighting alongside each other so well.
Yeah.
That they kind of
dance around each other.
It kind of goes nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it ultimately ends with Kyoko winning because Mami is not actually fighting to harm Kyoko.
Yeah. Yeah. I there it is, that line.
Yeah. And Kyoko is.
Mm-hmm.
Kyoko actually strikes so close to Mami's throat that she tears the ribbon tied at her collar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's and I like that she just calls her on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's like, I don't have to dodge if you're not trying to hit me.
Mm-hmm.
This fight is immediately on unequal grounds because one of us is willing to do something the other isn't. And then it stops because once that understanding is there, Mami knows she's not going to change her strategy based on that, so fighting becomes kind of
pointless. Mami realizes that Kyoko is legit serious here.
Yep.
She's actually serious.
The thing is, if Kyoko was really that serious, wouldn't she have just killed her?
Kyoko was ready to harm, not kill. But Mami was not willing to do either.
That's fair.
Kyoko was trying to get Mami to just leave her alone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And
but it's still that raises the question of, would Kyoko actually kill her because that's something she walks away from doing?
No, I don't think she would have.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, probably not. No.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's something that someone maybe a little more experienced than Mami might have picked up on, is the fact that Kyoko doesn't want to kill her.
No. Kyoko is being an angry cat.
Yeah.
She's like, no, swat, get away. Like, she's not actually trying to kill you, she just wants you to go away.
She's gonna bite and scratch, but she's not actually trying to tear your throat out.
No, she just wants you to fuck off.
Yep.
And Mami is, takes a minute to figure that out.
So they separate, and Kyoko says, I'm going back to Kazamino. From now on, I'm going to fight my way. Thanks for the lessons till now. And Mami tries to call after her, like, you were the first magical girl who ever saw eye to eye with me. I believed you weren't like the others. Are you sure this is what you want? Do you really think you can stand the loneliness? And she just walks
Kyoko
away.
just walks off.
Yep.
And Mami's sad because it's another failure at trying to make friends.
Yep. But
And, and she's upset.
And then the very next page, Kyoko negates literally everything she did by going, you can find better friends than me. So we know the motivation behind all of this was nothing to do with her philosophy or anything like that. It was literally just,
I'm bad. Get
I'm
away
a
from
bad
me.
person.
Which is a mood, but baby. Kyoko, you're right.
Yep.
So this chapter, at the very end, ends with some amount of time passing.
Yeah.
We see Mami sleeping, looking kind of unhappy in her apartment, and who comes to her apartment door but Madoka with Kyubei.
And you're like, oh wait, this is familiar.
Did they always use this font for the thought communication?
I don't know.
They changed fonts here, and I don't remember them doing that before.
I don't think they had been doing the thought communication earlier, had they?
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Remember.
I don't remember either.
But yeah.
But I don't think they were.
So they're using a different font for thought communication.
Which is smart.
So Madoka has come to get Mami to break up Sayaka's fight with Kyoko in the alleyway in that one episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because
in this universe, Mami survived.
Yep, so basically, Homer is still there. Homer is still there observing.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, in the anime, Homer is the one who breaks up this fight, but in this comic, Mami shows up.
Yep, so...
And she's like, hey, leave my new student alone.
Yep.
And go away.
Well, I mean, we do get a couple of pages of Kyoko and Sayaka fighting.
Yep.
And,
What is notable about the last page, where she does come in and break up the fight, is that notably, Kyoko and Mami do not have any level of, regret seeing each other again.
They are seeing each other in the middle of a fight, though.
Yeah, that's not the time for,
And we only get, 3 panels of them meeting. 4 panels, technically, of them
That's
meeting.
true, but there's no... It's not treated with any kind of...
the
deep drama.
Or
it's
anything like that.
Yeah.
They're both trying to be hard asses about it.
Like I said,
Yeah,
they are in the middle of a fight. And it does not gain anybody anything to air out the contents of their messy breakup in the middle of this fight.
And there is literally, a fight happening already, so it's deal with this mess, and then we'll make another mess by talking to each other again.
And that brings us into Volume 2.
Yeah.
The first chapter of the second book, which starts off with a very nice color picture for the first page. I like this picture.
It is. Yeah. It's very soft.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's Wooby Cube. Well, I mean, all of them are Wooby Cube. It's just,
So, let's see, where are we at now?
They start getting a little more creative with the font here.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I noticed about this book, is that there's a little more creativity with the font.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this volume is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about halfway through it. I don't think we'll get to the point where I'm at in it yet.
Are we splitting the episode here, or are we gonna...
I think we can do it.
Alrighty.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Let's truck on.
Okay, so in chapter 5, we start off, not where we left off, but sometime in the future, I guess. We're watching Sayaka and Mami teaming up, fighting a witch together.
Mm-hmm.
Madoka is also there watching. So we're still in this era of Mami and Madoka and Sayaka together. But now, because Mami's still alive, Mami and Sayaka are fighting witches together.
Mm-hmm.
And Madoka's not a magical girl yet. She's still just observing.
Yeah.
This witch looks like a little Pokemon mascot character kind of thing. like a little blob with little stubby legs, and it's got cute fluffy moth antenna and a big fluffy moth collar, like a big fuzzy collar, and a big king's cape.
Yeah, and a hat.
And claws. And big-ass claws that it can throw out.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that face
cute.
is like an upside down like owl or something.
It's a damn cockroach.
It's got kind of like a masquerade mask on, sort of, but it's also got like a pointy nose.
Yeah.
It's a cockroach.
So it's like
it's bizarre.
It's like an anteater wearing a masquerade mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very insect-like, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Anyway, they're fighting this witch. Kablamo. Lots of artwork. Kablamo.
This witch goes in and out of these like windows. These windows that close and goes into
window
out.
watch.
Yeah.
Window counter.
Oh god, lots of windows. It's a bazillion of them flying around in the air.
And lots of stairs.
There's definitely a witch aesthetic in the manga that is consistent. I think like there's a lot more of like stairs and things like that. And
yeah, it kind of makes the witches' aesthetics not as different from each other.
Yeah, it's a little more homogenous, which I feel like really works for this.
Yeah.
Since less
I'm guessing that Hanokage probably was designing some of their own witches when it came to the original witches.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the other thing is you don't really have the space to explore the witch labyrinths the way you did in the anime, because that you can get a really good look at all of them and you can kind of see
it would be kind of interesting to have seen a manga where they did try to do that in the sense of like carrying the mixed media concept.
That would be incredibly fucked up, but incredibly good.
It would be very cool, like, but the focus,
designing the witches in the manga, that would be.
Well, you know what I'm thinking of? The Dave McKean covers for Sandman.
Yeah, I know. That's
where it's like this mixed media aesthetic that I think would probably transfer really cool to page, but I can see why that was not what they went for.
No,
that's very specific. Yeah. And this is much more about the characters, so that's fair.
So the witch is moving in and out of doors, and I think Sayaka even describes it as playing whack-a-mole. So they decide that Mami is going to aim at all of the doors with her guns, except for one, at once. And Sayaka will attack the last door remaining, so that the witch has to pop out of that door.
Yeah.
And they'll take out the witch that way. Which is basically exactly what they do. And it's lots of pew pew pew, lots of swords. Mami does a tiro ricercare, if I'm saying it correctly, in which there's lots of pew pew laser beams. It's very flashy.
It is very.
Is that Italian?
I don't know. I have no idea how to say it.
Well, I mean,
ricercare.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, tiro finale. That could be Italian. Rosso Fantasma is definitely Italian. Yeah. It might be that Mami gives her stuff Italian names.
Yeah. And it would be like
if you're Italian and you know how to pronounce that.
Oh, well, we got Vanna right
here.
Yeah,
but I'm not exactly like I'm not like a pro tier.
Yeah. But theory is ricercare.
Yeah. Maybe something like that. But yeah, so it's very pew.
So they pew pew. They beat it. It's very cute. Sayaka grabs the grief seed, and it's adorable that she's so happy to have beaten it.
Yeah, she's so hyped.
However, once they're out of the labyrinth, they see that Homura is there.
Lurking.
And was watching them, and is lurking.
Look, lurking is a valid pastime, and I do it all the time.
Yes. Mami's here to negotiate and keep the peace. She's like, hey, listen, it's cool. We took care of the witch. We already got the grief seed. There aren't any left. Move along.
Get the fuck out.
And Homer is like, well, I'm not here for grief seeds. And Mommy's like, okay, well then can I help you, bitch? What do you want? And she's like, this is still Homura. So she's like, I'm here to make sure that Madoka does not make a contract. And this is original anime Mami. This is like present Mami.
Much more so.
This Mami is not fucking around anymore.
No.
This Mami is markedly different from the Mami that we've seen so far. She's not afraid to kind of taunt Homer a little bit. She's like, are you, you're still worried about Kaname-san? Is it that you want to take control of her and have her on your own team? Because I know all about her because of what Kyubei told me, and I bet you just want this territory, and if it's a fight you want, then bring it on, because I'm not afraid of you.
You know what? This whole thing, like Mommy's whole reaction here, and the fact that she's like, you're, there's no grief seeds left, fuck off. This implies to me there is an entire, like, industry of magical girls who are just kill-stealing pieces of shit.
I mean, isn't that the whole thing?
I mean...
that just, like, show up at the end of the battle and just, like, do the KO
it's
and
you.
swipe
You're
it.
the camper.
Yeah, they're like camping.
Yeah.
Camping bastard.
Camping bastard gamers.
Yes,
Honestly, that's
would
probably
that
what I
not
would do.
be the best way to conserve your magic?
Right?
Yep.
And just show up right at the end and grab it, like, right as they're coming out of a labyrinth?
That would be
and
me
run
and
off.
Vanna's
Kill
magical
steals.
girls. They would be kill stealers.
They would have to release a patch that stopped you from doing that. Because we'd just be dirty bastards. But I like that implies that is a problem magical girls have. Or that they're going to try and
You know,
swipe.
I think that's probably pretty relatable to their audience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Aw.
What?
So, yeah.
So,
Anyway.
so Homura just walks off.
Yep.
You know, Homura does her Homura thing. She doesn't say anything.
Nope.
She just turns around and walks off.
Too cool for school.
We see Mami's kind of flashing back on her spat with Kyoko
Mhm.
from a while back. And she's thinking to herself that she's fighting her own way now, too. You know, just
Mhm.
like Kyoko is. And now we're kind of getting a little bit of some narration to bring us up to speed here. And here I made a note of, I wonder exactly how much time has passed since she broke apart from
Mhm.
Kyoko. Because this text makes it feel like it hasn't been that long at all.
No.
But I got the feeling it had been like at least like 6 months, maybe.
Mhm.
Like at least, or even like a full school year. Like it had at least been a while.
Yeah. Well, 6 months to a bunch of, like, 14-year-olds
Is
is
forever.
8 billion
I
years.
know, but this makes it feel like it was even less than that.
It does. Like, there's, like, a
This
tone.
makes it feel really short.
Do they even say, like, there's, like, a, like, you found new friends pretty fast or something like
Well,
that line?
After Sakura-san left town, I met
Yeah.
some new magical girls.
It's pretty, like...
It's like
it happened
almost
quickly.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, because it just feels like they treat each other with a lot more distance than as if they had just seen each other a couple months earlier.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like it has been, at least like half a year, maybe.
But at that age, 2 months is forever.
Yeah. It does feel like
Is
it's
it?
been a while.
I don't know, maybe I'm just old.
We are very old.
No, I
so
remember being around that age, and 2 months was an eternity.
I remember that too, but like, if I didn't see someone for 2 months, I probably wouldn't treat them as like
Strangers.
They
stranger.
do have a good reason to do so, though. Like I said, they probably don't
Yeah.
want to spill their messy breakup all over the big
That's
fight
fair.
they were in.
And also I think it's also, there's that whole, like, neither of them is sure what the footing is now.
yeah.
So there's kind of a, like, pretend nothing happened, pretend nothing is wrong, pretend there's no,
Mhm.
just sort of like, nothing, until they find some way to resolve the uncomfortable situation.
Mhm.
Because they are still in breakup mode. You don't,
Yeah.
do that in front of people. Especially people that you're trying to, like, keep aligned to you.
I'm still gonna assume that it's been like
Okay.
at least 6 months. Yeah. That's my story I'm sticking to.
And it does track with, like, Mommy being presented as much older.
And more mature and
Yeah.
has clearly changed her perspective, as we're gonna see as we keep reading
Yeah.
this chapter.
She got hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Vanna's referring to something specific. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Dragon Age
Yeah.
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Kyoko picked the hardening dialogue.
Yeah, we're getting some narration here from Mami to bring us up to speed,
Mhm.
which that alone makes it feel like we need narration? Has that much time passed that we need to be brought up to speed here? But okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so she met some new magical girls,
Mhm.
Sayaka and Madoka.
Mm-hmm.
They're second-year students and her underclassmen. They have potential as magical girls. Only Sayaka has made a contract, and she's
Mhm.
fighting with Mami. Madoka hasn't yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's Homura, who just doesn't want Madoka to make a contract, but they don't know anything else about her. She's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Kyoko, who came back to the city. She has no idea why she came back to the city, but she has become very selfish and violent.
Yeah.
And that's basically where we are basically the prologue is over, and now different story has started proper
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
Episode 5.
So, back at Mommy's apartment, they're talking about the way that they have to deal with the other magical girls. And
basically, yeah.
Mami says that they can't be friends with Homura because they can't trust her without knowing her true motives. Mami can't ensure Madoka and Sayaka's safety unless she knows what Homura's goals are. So she agrees with Madoka that it would be better to work together with magical girls and not fight each other, but she explains why they can't with a lot more confidence. She's pretty much accepted that that's not possible, that it's not really possible to have a huge alliance between them the way Madoka wants to do.
This is anime Mami.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is anime Mami being wise and being like, yeah, you're right. It would be nice for us to do that. But, just don't forget it's not always possible. And before anything else, you have to be careful. Mm-hmm. And, I agree with you, Madoka. No one fights because they want to and blah, and, all that stuff. This is definitely not the Mami that we saw in the first book.
Yeah. And so she ends off on that note of not being able to guarantee Madoka's safety, and then Kyubei pipes up with his little, oh, well, if she contracted with me, then she'd be a majorly powerful magical girl.
He's just saying that, like, openly. There's no...
Yeah.
In the anime, there was kind of a, like, shh, but she'd be... Like,
it was a little bit
yeah,
covert.
He's just airing it out all over the place in this.
Yeah. He's like a cat showing his butthole.
Yeah, he's so unsubtle.
But Mami kind of stuffs a piece of cake in his mouth and is like, look, no, you need to think about this because you're going to need a fully prepared heart when you become a magical girl. And Sayaka starts complaining about Homura and Kyoko.
She basically just starts bitching about them.
Yeah, she starts like getting mad that Kyoko made fun of her wish and talking about how Kyoko has such an attitude and she's a know-it-all and stuff like that. And then she's
like, who would want to be friends with Homer anyway when everyone's has such a nasty attitude about, not wanting that grief seed that we assumed that Homura came to steal. Which is mean because we know that Madoka's been trying to be friends with Homura, so it's like, geez, can you, Sayaka's just kind of being Sayaka.
Sticking her foot in her mouth. Without realizing it.
This kind of, like, reads like the author is not especially fond of this character.
Kinda, yeah.
Well,
like, I don't
know.
That.
I don't know because I feel like this is very in character.
It is.
I like Sayaka, so I don't even know.
It seems like it's highlighting the more negative aspects of her character.
These are character flaws of Sayaka.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I guess because that's kind of the opening salvo of this character, you're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she, like, implies that Mami was dumb to team up with Kyoko, and she, like, implies that Madoka is dumb to want to be friends with Homura, and then she's all like, sorry, I'll stop there. I mean, it looks like she picked up on that everybody else in the room was kind of like
getting
fuck.
Wow, this is ox.
Yeah. So she's all like...
Takes the hint, changes the subject.
She's all like, sorry, these cakes are too good to be spoiled by talk like that.
Which, is, I guess...
I mean, that's an effort at smoothing things
She's
over.
trying.
She is trying.
And then the next couple pages are just, like, wacky homework hijinks.
Yeah, of homework and slamming down all of this paperwork and stuff, which, that tracks with Mami. I get the impression she's, like,
it is
Belmont.
very cute.
She's the Belmont
of
magical girls.
Belmont?
Yeah.
Really?
Shut up, everyone.
All right.
Look, at least 3 people will get that.
I know.
3.
Anyway, let's see.
But she leaves them all with homework, including learning to use their magic to find witches, which apparently is something everyone was just going to follow her around forever to do. Because there's
Which is like,
Sayaka especially, like, what do you mean I have to learn how to find them myself? Which I find interesting because I thought that the senpai relationship carried with it the implication that they were raising senpais.
Yeah.
And Sayaka's just
Sayaka was just gonna coast as an underclassman forever. She was gonna be the Kohei forever.
Yeah, she was just gonna coast and let Mami do, that stuff. And I'm like, what a tank. Typical tank behavior.
You actually gotta learn some shit here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's the close range fighter, and it really shows.
Yep.
Yep. I just wanted to find that one moment there
Mm-hmm.
where, Madoka sees Kyoko's name in the notes somewhere. It looks like they're looking at, like, the finishing moves.
Oh,
And there's another
noticed
Italian one there.
mm-hmm.
There's another Italian one there, I think. Palatola.
Palatola Magica ed Infini.
Yeah. Oh, now I feel dumb.
What?
The fucking title is in, like, Latin-ish. Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Puella Maggie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what they're using.
I
That's
mean,
why it's
there's
all
a lot
kind
of just
weirdly Italian.
co-opting foreign languages in this.
Well, no,
show.
they're just straight up using that kind of Latin-ish
Yeah.
that they used for the title. That's all it is. It's not like it's like it's trying to be Italian.
No.
It's just that's how it is. But yeah, so it looks like Mami is like taking notes of what
like witches they fought and stuff like that.
Yeah, what attacks these magical girls have.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of neat.
It's kind of hard to tell from the comic, but it looks like Madoka might have noticed either from the attack written down on the paper or something else on the note, something about Kyoko.
Yeah, she recognizes.
And then the moment just kind of passes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what it's implying there is that Kyoko's name is right beside Rosa Fantasma as a magical attack.
Yeah.
So.
And then after they leave, we find out that Mami was doing her Mami thing, where she actually has tons of her own homework to do,
but she didn't want
and
them to know.
She didn't want them to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was trying to be a good senpai and act cool in front of them.
Yeah, this is like, I'm guessing that's not entirely, like, that's basically in line with what the senpai role is imagined to be. Like, it's supposed to, like, she thinks it's supposed to look effortless.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, like, nothing is ever
A
wrong.
senpai mustn't show sloppy work to her underclassmen.
Yeah, like, it's very, but it feels like it's self-imposed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, yeah, and this matches up perfectly with her little mini meltdown that she has with Madoka in the anime right before she dies.
Yeah, totally.
Where it's like, you think I'm awesome, I'm not awesome at all. I'm a gigantic mess.
Yeah.
And she is what is the right phrasing I'm trying to? She puts herself under a lot of self-imposed emotional pressure.
She's a teenager trying to look
this.
like an adult because there's no adult around for her anymore to model adulthood after. So she's like a teenager going, adulthood just is supposed to look effortless and like you have all your shit together, which is extremely cute. But
speaking as an adult disaster.
It's also really sad, or it's like there is no adult to be there for her to make it look like that things are together and that things are stable.
Yeah.
So she has to be the stable adult for herself at the same time that she's a disaster teenager.
And that's another parallel that makes her and Kyoko being kind of more related in this. It tracks because those are both characters who have this really strong sense of needing to project stability and adultness, and I know what I'm on about, and I have no vulnerabilities and all of that kind of stuff. And it contrasts so much with Madoka, especially, who is openly vulnerable and not afraid of that. And shares that and accepts that her role is to be a child that's learning how to do these things. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if this is going to happen in this manga, but in the show they're very careful to make sure you see that she has that connection to her mother, and she's
that's actually kind of an interesting way of looking at Madoka's growth, is that she's looking at all of these different models of what adulthood might look like, because Sayaka's got the morals, and Kyoko's got the independence, and Mami's got the caring, and Homura's got the determination, and then she's got her own mother to look at, and in the end, she kind of chooses to be all of them at the same time.
Yeah, because they're each different parts of what maturity looks like, but no one of those things in isolation is maturity.
Yeah.
But it's very easy, especially as, like, a child without good, parents and role models, it's very easy to pick one of those things and focus on it the way that, like, Mami and Kyoko do especially. Mm-hmm. And Sayaka, like, is kind of in that middle ground because she does seem to have, like, parental support, but it's not quite as...
It's never present in the show.
Yeah. she has a parent there, but you really don't see that parent engage much until after she's fucking dead in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know how much. So it doesn't necessarily communicate the parents are always going to be that good resource. But I do think it was important in the show that Madoka is presented as having a very healthy outlook on that, because she has a very supportive mother that encourages her when she wants to be adult-like. You know, supports her on things that she hasn't matured about yet. Madoka accepts that that's still a process. And yeah, it is exactly like that. The show is you watching Madoka try to figure out what adulthood looks like, filtered through all of these other people who think they have already figured that out and definitely have not.
Yeah. Except maybe her mom.
Speaking of good and bad resources, Mami tries asking Kyubey if he knows anything more about Homura and Kyoko.
And that's a problem.
And Kyubey naturally, this is his answer. This is his answer. I want y'all to listen to this.
I love it.
It's natural to assume they intend to invade and take your territory, but unfortunately, there is no absolute proof.
Such a non-answer. What a king.
Oh,
what does that mean, Kyubey?
Oh, and further... And even if I knew for certain, all I can pass on to you is information that won't unbalance my own neutral position. Okay, there's no such thing as a neutral position.
Centrist Kyubey.
Yeah.
That is a politician answer.
It is.
That
it's bullshit.
She is such a fuck.
That is a bullshit answer.
Yeah,
he's so full of crap.
Centrist Kyubey.
Yeah.
So do you know anything more or not, Kyubey?
I might.
Even if I knew, I couldn't tell you without unbalancing my own neutral position. Like, go fuck yourself, buddy. Go fuck yourself.
That is the most punchable fucking answer.
The saddest thing about this show is that none of these girls realize how fucking awful Kyubey is, and nobody punches him in the face until the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the saddest thing. That should have happened in the series. Somebody should have caught on to that.
By the same token, there's a lot of don't look a gift horse in the mouth kind of energy there. Kyubey shows up with something that they all ostensibly want, so you don't really want to ask Kyubey too many questions, because then you might get answers that you don't like.
I don't want to go off on a rant about that. Let's go on.
Yeah. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, sorry.
So we proceed to, interestingly, the H and Ellie fight.
Yeah, that's kind of
which, once again, Mami's not normally alive for. This is normally Sayaka's first appearance as a magical girl, and she is not here for this fight.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it is Madoka and Mami saving Hitomi themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And so they save Hitomi and kind of justify the whole, why she got attacked by the witch.
Mm-hmm. Madoka explains, this is my friend. Mami says, even, anyone can get attacked by a witch, pretty much any time. Good job doing this. Good job helping me save her. And then, who is there watching? Not Homura this time, but Kyoko.
Kyoko busts in with, "Aw, where's Sayaka? Did she get sick of you already?"
Damn, Kyoko.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like that.
The two of them just basically insult each other for a little bit here.
They just go back and forth.
Man, just kiss me.
And there's a little bit of, a moment where Kyoko's all like, "What the fuck are you dragging a more normal girl into this for?"
A civilian. Actually, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know how that was in the Japanese, but I love that's the civilian thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's a trope.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
You'd use that in a mafia movie.
You use that in any movie where there's a group of people acting as if they are the law outside of the law. That's literally that.
Magical girls are the mob.
Kinda, yeah.
Honestly, they fight over turf.
I mean, maybe that's why they've got all the weird Latinate stuff.
There you go.
Ah, it's the mob.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see someone burn an effigy or something.
When Mami explains that Madoka's there to learn what being a magical girl is before she makes a wish and make an educated decision, Kyoko's like, "Are you serious?" And then she's like, "Okay, listen, if you make a lame wish, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass, just like Sayaka. So, don't forget it." And then Madoka's like, "I don't know you very well, and that's not a very nice thing to say. So I wish you wouldn't say that, you big meanie. But also, don't call Sayaka's wish me like a lame.
Mm-hmm.
It's so wholesome, and it's just like,
yeah,
it's cute.
She's just aiming for that moral high ground, and you're like, nobody even sees what you're aiming for in this group.
Yep.
You're trying, but...
And then before Kyoko leaves, for no reason at all, really, she's like, okay, well, also don't forget that Mami doesn't give a shit about you, and she only wants you around for extra support.
Firepower. Yep.
Yeah, and as soon as you make a contract, she's gonna not care about you anymore. Which is a total lie.
That's kind of bullshit.
No, that's 100% the way you would reframe a past event so that you feel better about what you did.
Yeah, that's true, but it's still, that doesn't stop it from being bullshit.
It's bullshit, but it's also that stinks of the whole, like, when you're super drunk and you say what you tell yourself out loud. Except that she's not drunk, she's a teenager.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, that's true.
That's what she was telling herself.
Yeah.
That's drunk person logic right there.
Yeah.
And Mommy's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then is like, okay, you can stay here, but stop bothering the people that I'm trying to mentor.
Stop talking to my new girlfriend. Stop texting us. Leave us alone.
Do not interact.
We're trying to block your number and you keep changing your number. Leave us alone. Jeez.
Totally a stalker.
Yep. I'm not sure I catch up why me and not Mommy thing.
Yeah, what is that about?
Yeah, because that happens directly after Mami and Madoka walk away. And then Kyoko's all like, why me and not Mommy?
Why am I kicked out of this group and not Mommy?
So after Mami and Madoka walk away, Kyoko is like, punches the wall and is angry.
Yeah.
So I can only guess that it's Homura asking why me and not Mami.
Yeah. Why did...
Okay, that makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then Kyoko's like, well, it's not as if she leaves a person a lot of room to negotiate, right? So she's basically blaming Mami for being the stubborn one, even though it's really Kyoko who's being the stubborn one here.
Mm-hmm. And she goes off on how Mami is seducing newbie magical girls. God, that sounds gross.
I mean, that only sounds gross to us.
Yeah, I know, but...
Honestly.
I mean... It's funny to talk about them being girlfriends, but then you start bringing, like, more sexual language into it, like seducing, and it's like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But, anyway, Kyoko spouts off a bunch of bullshit, and Homura's like, so, you know her then? And Kyoko's like, well, I'll just take her territory. Nothing weird about that.
Whatever. So, just tell me more about Walpurgisnacht, because... Don't forget, this is still a Walpurgisnacht thing, and this is apparently why they're hanging out, because they still have their deal to fight Walpurgisnacht together, like in the anime. So that is why the two of them are chilling. Yeah.
But they clearly don't have any kind of, like, trust for each other, or really know that much about each other. They're just kind of, we have sort of the same goal. Yeah. And that's about it.
Yeah.
And then Madoka asks Mami about Kyoko, and Kyoko is like, and Mami's like, don't worry about my ex. You just worry about your wish. Yeah. Just remember that. Keep it keep that in the front of your mind. And goes off a little bit about Sayaka's wish. Kind of like...
Yeah. Madoka says,
which they don't tell you.
Madoka says, well, I originally just wanted to be a magical girl for magical girl's sake, but Sayaka made me realize that my wish does matter, so Kyoko's kind of right. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be a burden, and Mami says, you're not a burden because having somebody around helps me feel better about what I'm trying to do.
Madoka is, and it's interesting as, like, I guess this is something Mami's trying out, but the idea that you're stepping back and making this a decision that you've contemplated and not something that happens in, like, a moment of urgency, like with Mami, or something that happens from the embroiled emotional needs of, teenager like Sayaka. Once it starts getting thought about, because there's, up to this point, it's like, well, you have a selfish wish that you pay for by being a good magical girl. And that's kind of how it's presented, is you get something, and then Madoka's just like, no, but you could also give something and then give something.
Yeah.
Guys? and nobody else has thought of it that way to this
What
point.
if you just sacrifice yourself for the greater good?
Yeah. Galaxy brain, literally. Literally.
So, the next day at school,
Mm-hmm.
Madoka, Sayaka, and Hitomi are walking to class, and Sayaka and Madoka are talking some telepathy. Telepathy. Oh, Luna, you're falling from my lap.
Oh no!
I used to say telepathetically as a kid. I couldn't pronounce.
Telepathetically.
I mean, that fits for this.
Yeah,
they're
this is
communicating
telepathetic.
telepathetically.
And, Sayaka's asking how was last night. Madoka's saying it's okay, everything went fine. And Sayaka finds out that the reason Hitomi is kind of sleepy and kind of out of it is that she was attacked by a witch, which she seems to be a little bit horrified by.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be interesting shortly.
Yeah.
She feels bad.
We jump ahead to them hunting witches later, presumably that day.
Mm-hmm.
They are fighting in what looks like a giant bee honeycomb.
Yep.
With a giant bee that looks like a rabbit with a target on its belly.
They are
Trippy.
bee, bunny rabbit mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Cursed.
With one eye. One big eye that serves as their entire head.
That's what I see when I wake up in the morning and look in the mirror.
And the main witch itself, instead of an eye for a head, has a marble and a target on its stomach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so there's lots of pew-pew and fighting.
I love how we just call it that
It's
now.
just pew-pew.
Yeah, just imagine some cool manga drawings, listeners.
Yep. I like that Mommy calls the witch a dumbass. That's big me energy right there.
That is pretty.
You're not very smart, are you? To my enemy who is trying to kill me. You're kind of dumb
for Mommy to say. I feel like that's not very senpai-like.
That sounds more Kyoko.
Yeah, maybe she's channeling.
Maybe.
Kyoko
But
energy.
so the wards grab Mommy, like the witches' wards, change their shape.
Oh god damn, you guys are going fast now.
Oh, sorry, but it's just like the.
I know we were trying to get this done quickly, but geez, I was trying to I was still looking at the pew-pews here. For a second. Hold on. Well,
It's on the next page.
I know. I'm sorry. I was just looking at the pew-pews.
You were distracted.
They love that thing with the 20 guns coming out of Mommy, because I feel like every pew-pew has one of those.
It looks fucking sweet as hell.
It's her it's her
Sayaka
favorite
gets
move.
a sweet panel too.
She does, but Mommy spams that the way that you spam Chun-Li's kicks if you're playing
Fuck
Street
yeah.
Fighter.
Oh man.
Where you're just being cheap, but
Look,
it wins, so you do it.
I was a cheap bitch when I played that game, and I won all the fucking time. So
I will say that the drawings for this fight are actually above average.
yeah.
It's actually pretty easy to follow what's going on here.
Yeah, this is one of the easier ones, actually.
Yeah, this is well done. This is well blocked and well drawn.
Yeah, I feel like it's smoothed out a bit from earlier.
So what they're trying to do is grab the witch, I guess, and keep it from moving around so that they can attack it at once. So the witch is all tied up in ribbons and shit, and Mommy is about to tear a finale it, and something underneath her suddenly rises up.
Whoops.
And we see all these black
Tendrils.
vine-like tendrils attached to something like a Venus flytrap kind of mouth or hand. And okay, that's where you guys had skipped ahead to, so now I'm caught up. Yeah.
And it grabs her, and she's like, what is this?
It's part of. She's what this manga calls the ward, but what they mean is the labyrinth itself.
Yeah.
She's like, is this part of the labyrinth that's moving now? Is this
a new thing?
Is it? Yeah.
Is that other witch a decoy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then she's like, is there a different witch inside this witch's labyrinth? What? So
wait, is this fascination magic?
I don't think so. No, because Kyoko can't do that anymore.
No, but the witch could.
Oh,
yeah,
that's true.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, it could be.
If this kills Mommy
Oh.
and is also fascination magic, that's very,
yeah, that's pretty meta.
that's very, I get it. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Well, this thing is grabbing Mommy. It's going after Mommy,
Yep.
and
Gasps all around.
She looks over at Sayaka for backup, and what is Sayaka doing?
Staring at Mami.
She's standing there.
Like derp.
Yep.
Not sure what.
She's like frozen.
She's like catatonic. She's like frozen in fear or something.
Yeah, like we see her looking at Mami, presumably, and then looking away, like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
It has not yet occurred to her that Mami is vulnerable ever.
Yeah.
Like that Mami is in serious danger here,
Yeah,
and she needs to do something.
Yeah, This is Sayaka realizing that Senpai is not immortal and can't protect her.
And then right after that, it implies that there's a ribbon barrier in front of her.
Yeah, like a bunch, a bunch of stuff gets.
Did she just send
Mami's
that up?
ribbons though, or is that the wish?
That's, like, yeah, I don't know. I can't tell.
It's trying.
I
to
think
separate
that's
them.
Mami's ribbons.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Because I have read ahead a little bit,
Okay.
and the same ribbons are protecting Madoka.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
They're protecting Madoka, but it's also kind of like, well, how the fuck do you expect Sayaka to back you up if you're gonna throw a shield in front of her, kind of thing?
Danger too great. Save yourself.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
Mami.
I mean, I think maybe at that point, since Mami realized that Sayaka was like freezing up and didn't know what to do,
Yeah.
maybe
Sealing
she was
her
like,
off.
well, if I'm gonna die, I might as well try to protect her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
take it back. So this one isn't quite as hard or easy to follow as I thought.
Yeah, at the end here, maybe.
It gets
Yeah.
a little more hairy.
Yep. So we end up with some blood splatter landing on Sayaka and Madoka looking horrified and
Ta-da!
something
Mami said.
vines wrapped around Mommy's gun.
Yeah.
And that
Chapter
is the
break!
end of the chapter.
I think we pretty much know
That
what's
is
going
the
to
end of
happen,
the
though.
chapter.
Yeah, that's not an unpredictable plot twist.
Yeah.
But
Oh, there we go.
I like that, like, Mami freezing up does go with the whole, like earlier, or Sayaka freezing up has that whole, like, moment where she gets all the homework and she's like, wait, I have to learn this stuff too? Like,
Yeah.
like on one hand,
Kind
it's-
of that you're going to be around forever assumption that
Yeah.
she really shouldn't be
she
making.
really shouldn't have. And it kind of tells you that Sayako is not taking it as seriously as she might have.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a less mature decision, which makes sense because the moment Mami is around to support people, people will rely on her. So this Sayaka made her decision with, I don't want to say less awareness of the consequences.
Yeah.
Because she thought she was going to be protected and
Well,
sent by
maybe less internalization of the consequences because she's aware. She just hasn't internalized it.
Whereas
This
I
is
think
a wake-up call. Yeah, this is a wake-up call that she actually has to be reliable in turn.
Yeah.
You know?
And that wake-up call happens before Mami dies in this because of, like, how they're doing that. But that's a wake-up call that's, like, literally done immediately in the series. So by the time Sayaka makes her choice, she's already counted for that. This is just kind of reversing that, I guess.
Yeah.
But it makes Sayaka come across as less likable.
A little, yeah.
To be honest. She just seems less likable to me right now. I wonder if that's going to change, but... And they also haven't told you what the wish was. I mean, I'm guessing it's the same thing, and they're presuming everyone is just going to know what the wish was and all of that, but when it's like, oh, I wasn't there, sorry, like, what, was she banging this guy that she had, is she banging Kyosuke while Hitomi's getting...
Please don't say that.
Oh, you know what? Hey, you know what I just realized?
What?
I've read ahead and you guys haven't.
You
Yes.
have.
You know what I get to say again?
What?
We shall see.
We shall see. Nice.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even read ahead in the outline, so I don't know what's coming next.
Yeah, I'm carefully
hooray.
avoiding the outline because I want to read them.
Oh, this is gonna motivate me to just finish it now, like tomorrow, and then I'm just gonna know like what's gonna happen.
It is empowering.
If you want to do it that way, that's totally fine by me.
You'll have the forbidden knowledge.
The forbidden fruit.
I know the forbidden knowledge.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yes. I'm still enjoying
that was
this.
chapters 4 and 5 of Different Story.
Yep.
It's getting interesting now.
Honestly,
I have to
I've
say.
been enjoying it from the start. Like, as far as like a spin-off manga, retelling manga, etc., etc., usually the expectations for that sort of thing are fairly low, so...
Well, yeah, I should say it wasn't uninteresting before.
But now
but
the
it's
plot line
definitely
is starting.
I mean, before,
Yeah.
a lot of it was just exploring background that we already knew, and now we're finally getting into territory that's new.
And it's like, ooh, what's different here? What's changed?
Yeah,
Like,
because it's not like Kyoko's story changed because of the addition of Mami. That's something that could have happened in the background.
Yeah.
And we already knew what happened in Kyoko's story. We just didn't know Mami's side of it.
yeah, and at this point, we're just straight up diverging.
We're off-roading now.
Yeah, we're off-roading. This is a different
And-
timeline.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing more of Mami versus Homura and Homura and Kyoko working together. So I'm looking forward to that too.
I would like to see a continuity. I'm guessing it's not this one. But I totally would have liked to see a continuity that addresses that one sequence in the anime where Mami freaks out and shoots everybody herself. Like,
Aww.
that would be an interesting story to tell.
Yeah.
Where she just finds out that they're all witches in the end and is just like, well, in that case, I fight witches. And just shoots everybody. And it's like, that's...
So you.
Yeah, but that's also a very obvious trajectory for her. That
I was
makes
actually
sense.
saying that about
Yeah,
Mami.
it really is.
Yeah.
I was actually saying that about Mami, not
Yeah.
about you
Oh.
directly, although it is also very you to want something like
Yes.
that. But yeah,
I thought you were-
that's very Mami right there. Like, that's...
I do like that that's very like, oh yeah, if she'd made it this far and had gotten this piece of information, that is probably exactly what she would have thought the best thing
That's
to do
it.
with it.
That's it. That's it. She's done.
Yeah.
She's done. That's it. No more. She's done now.
No more
Just
witches.
pack it up. Pack it up. We're done.
Yep.
We're done. Yep.
That would actually be an interesting story to tell in this universe, is a magical girl that knows this and hunts other magical girls because of it.
Mommy makes that decision in a moment.
There is a. I'm pretty sure that one of the spin-off stories is literally the plot of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the kind of obvious place
Yeah,
to go with that.
because like I can see Mommy
Yeah.
making that
Interesting.
decision in like a moment of fear and violence, because that's when that happens. But that also sounds like a calculated decision someone like Homura or Kyoko would make.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, if this is the conditions of this world, the best thing to do is
To
just
kill other
kill
magical
them.
girls before they become witches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which,
Yeah.
I mean, is essentially what Madoka does.
Yeah.
I mean...
She doesn't kill them. She alleviates their suffering and brings them to magical girl heaven.
Like, euthanasia?
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's killing.
It's kind of like you could say it's like killing a ghost before they become a ghost.
You know what it really is like putting a pet down before
It's
before the
Madoka
end.
is just mercy killing all of the magical girls right before they become witches.
Yep.
Which, you know,
That's fair.
is an answer. That's an
Yeah.
answer. That's actually probably a much more manipulative answer, because you've preserved their lifespan sufficiently long for them to do the work of fighting witches that already exist. But then you're killing them before they can become witches, as opposed to the more like...
Just watch you
No,
find
they
Madoka's
don't.
decision
No.
morally questionable.
They don't fight witches that already exist, because no witches exist, because she prevents them all from existing.
So what's bringing them to the end of their lifespan?
There's the wraiths.
The wraiths.
Nothing does. Nothing does, and that's why the whole universe gets remade. Because she outsmarts Kyubey and divides by 0, and that's the whole that's the whole reason her wish is so brilliant to begin with.
Yep.
But it is still the same.
Yeah.
That's actually really smart. That's the decision Kyoko or Homura would have made.
Yep. That's what they would have made.
Yeah. Just like, I'll just kill the magical girls before they can become witches.
Mm-hmm.
And I can make friends with them and get close to them and just shank them in their sleep. So I don't have to use up my magical girl power. Oh, come on. This is 100% Homura shit.
No, I know. I know.
Homura does this at some point. Just sneaks up on magical girls
there is the problem
and
of
backstabs them.
not. There is the problem of my wife.
Homura just doesn't have the time to deal with that shit.
Yes, she's got to protect her wife.
Yeah.
But
She has
no,
other
kill
shit to
her
do.
wife. Well, Homer is protecting her waifu, but
You
she's
know.
trying to kill my waifu. Vanna and I
true.
just shrugged at each other in real life.
Okay.
Walpurgis knocked San.
It's 10 o'clock. It's my bedtime.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you enjoyed our first new recorded episode after our hiatus. I certainly had fun recording it. It was good to get back.
Yep.
If you want to follow us on social media, you can do so at Madoka Magicast on Twitter and Tumblr and SoundCloud and YouTube and Pillow Fort.
We're on, yeah.
And anywhere else, just type Madoka Magicast in, and if we're there, that'll be us.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, I am OddLasdo, that's my art account, and Lambda Power, that is my personal account.
And should you want to find Vanna and I online, you can always find us at ohtori.nu. That's our Utena website. And if you want to read horrible Utena shitposts, you can go to our Twitter, which is ohtori_nu. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I am so tired.
Go to bed.
All right. Let's say goodbye then.
I'm going to have another glass of Moscato, and then I'm going to go to bed.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably say goodbye to the listeners.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, goodbye, everybody, and thank you for listening.
Yep. Thanks for coming back to hear us after the hiatus.
Yes.
We be back.
We will be back next time with more different story.
Where things will definitely not happen to Mommy.
Well, things will definitely continue to get worse for everyone involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Bye, everyone.